Welcome back to the show. It's I Quit My Band. My name is Nate.
I'm JJ.
I'm Evan.
And we thank you for being here. Before we get into it, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And subscribe to our Patreon page where you can see new bonus content, new episodes. We got a new one on there right now called Post-Slap Output.
PSO.
We're talking about Will Smith. We're talking about Black Country New Road. We're talking about Doechii. We're talking about Dream Theater.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of clips that are you're going to be seeing from that episode on YouTube and stuff. So go get a little taste and then give us 5 bones for all that stuff.
That's all.
Wow.
Deal of a century.
It's a deal of a century.
Yeah.
I was going to say, wow, this is the first time we've done the show in the dark with the new lights.
Yeah.
And damn,
Pretty sick,
I'm in a maze right now. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm in a circus.
Yeah, it feels before it had kind of like a den. I could fall asleep mid episode, and I kind of like that energy.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm like a fucking. I know how Johnny Carson felt.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
we're superstars now.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
wow.
superstars.
That Lumineers review keeps trending. We might be fucking.
Yes, I forgot to mention the Lumineers review, which was released just a couple hours ago, and the
Already,
audience
yeah,
does not like it. We lost 2 subs immediately.
like
which
immediate.
is so
Like they just
funny.
saw the name Lumineers
Just
and were
like,
like,
oh,
"Fuck
This is not what I
I
subscribed for.
thought these guys reviewed Chat Pile. The
And Hardy.
Lumineers. Yeah, maybe we should never do that again.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
I
know,
don't know.
we're in the try stuff.
I had a
phase.
good time listening to that record.
I didn't
and
too
talking
bad.
about it.
Wasn't
Yeah.
too bad.
I thought it was a fun review.
I
Yeah.
didn't think we were that harsh, honestly.
We probably could have been more harsh.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had a fun time listening to that record, and I had an even better time talking about it.
Me
It
too.
was
I
great.
ordered some suspenders. I
Yeah.
got the Undertaker hat.
I'm going to their tour.
Yeah.
You're breaking sobriety for some.
Some IPAs. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it, dude.
fucking
6 years, more like 6 beers. That's what I'm about to have.
We're the kind of guys that are like, wouldn't it be funny if we just like went to the Lumineers show? I mean, like,
Spend
wouldn't that be
75
fucking-
bucks?
That'd be so funny.
What a great bit
That'd
that
be
would
so
be.
funny just to go and like make fun of it. I mean, like these like losers on stage with their hats.
Maybe
and
like film a
suspenders.
video of me drinking an IPA at the show.
Yeah, we should all like get suspenders and like hats and go. That'd be-
I wonder why the Lumineers fans might have not responded to that review.
yeah, it might have been 2 Lumineers fans that were excited and then
Hey,
don't
don't
Yeah.
say that.
saw our review and were like, they're actually really good. They're
yeah. The,
Really
the-
good band.
The crossover of guys who like Chat Pile and
Yeah.
guys who like Lumineers, and where Lumineers is the line that you can't cross. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't talk shit on the Lumineers,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, another thing, go watch that Lumineers review. It's a fun one. We just kind of did something that we, are not used to. We listened to the Lumineers record, and we did have fun listening to it. But in other news, it's the 2-year anniversary of the show.
Oh wow.
We've been doing this for 2 years. Yesterday, February 17th.
Isn't that crazy?
2
Yeah.
years. So started this bad boy in 2023.
I've lived in 3 places since.
Yeah.
We filmed the first episode in my old
Yeah.
apartment.
I've lived only
Here.
here.
Yeah, same.
This,
I live in a home that I own and probably will die. in.
me too. Haven't updated the house. I've just torn the things off
Yeah,
of the wall.
Yeah, you haven't quite updated. You just kind of like been like,
Just
no, I
kinda-
don't like that wall anymore.
I'm kind of doing this thing where I'm making it shittier.
I'm trying to
I'm
decrease my
trying to
value.
decrease
my
the value.
You did build that deck though.
Yeah, but we don't now that we did that. We don't have the money to replace the walls. There's no more walls. in the
Summer, we're
house.
gonna basically just be living out.
We're
on that
gonna be
deck.
on the deck, yeah. But yeah, two years, dudes. I mean, that's crazy.
Episode 100's coming up soon, a couple
And,
weeks.
Yeah, we've never divulged any information of why we started this show or anything, and I would think we should just keep it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mystery.
A shroud of mystery.
It's a mystery to our family, our loved ones. Let's keep it to the audience as
I just
well.
never want anyone to know who we are or why we started this, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Me too.
It
Yeah.
is funny to think about that. We never had like a show where it's like, this is
Here's the idea.
Here's the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Here's the bands we were in. Here's the
Yeah.
music we made. It's just like you just get little pieces of your dad, little here.
Yeah.
We do have the intro video on YouTube, but like that doesn't say that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't give away too much. We're just gonna keep it a mystery for y'all. Go look us up on. Or go create Wikipedia pages for this podcast.
Yeah.
I think
That would
2
be
years
awesome.
you should have a Wikipedia page. If someone could do that, that'd be hilarious. I would love to see what someone says about it.
I'll probably
all.
still be the grayed out name though. You two will have you guys will have the clickable
No, I feel
names.
like I feel like I will, the creator of the show. I'll have the grayed out name.
No,
that's
page.
what he does. That's
it.
Everyone else has good other stuff, but that's his thing. And there's not much information about it, But anyway, tonight we're reviewing an album that is a little bit more in our wheelhouse than the Lumineers. We're going to be listening to an album called Phonetics On and On by Horsegirl. They're an indie rock band that debuted in 2019, I believe. They're signed to Matador Records, and this is their second record. They had like a compilation type of record that released a year or two ago, but this is like their second like actual record.
Studio album. Yeah. Their first album I listened to. It's called
Rough Trade Super Disc. No,
Versions of
a
Modern
Modern
Performance.
Performance.
Yeah,
Versions, yeah.
They wrote that while still in high school.
That's insane.
So they're young.
They're very young.
Yeah.
It's a trio from Chicago, and they recorded that at Electrical Audio. And
amazing.
It's interesting. You hear that album, and just the fact that people this young are writing music and are assigned to Matador. But that album, I remember liking and thinking that it kind of fit well into the stuff you think of coming out of Electrical Audio. Like, it was noisier. The drums were like very full.
They were huge, yeah.
But it was it's pretty interesting listening to this album in kind of response to that. It's pretty different.
Yeah,
I didn't listen to the first record at all. I mean, I was, when you said we should listen to this, I checked it out, liked it, and then other things like maybe intrigued about it. Like Cate Le Bon is the producer on this one, and I think she's really cool. She's got some really cool records.
She did stuff with St. Vincent last year.
She did stuff with St. Vincent. I feel like she has. I don't know. I saw her at Pitchfork when the 1 year I went, and she was really. I mean, she was kind of like an outlier performance, but she was great. So I was excited to see like what that
Yeah, I'm on more of
like.
like a songs basis with Cate Le Bon. Like
Yeah.
I knew Pompeii, like when that came out, people raved about it. But like everything I've heard from Cate Le Bon, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can. I would just by judging between the first record and this record, it seems like she had a pretty like noticeable effect on the sound of this.
Yeah. See, it's like very like. Well, we can talk about it later, but yeah, I did not listen. So, what's the first record? Is it like louder and noisier? Like haven't heard like one song.
Yeah, definitely louder and noisier. It's a lot more Sonic Youth. Like you get a lot of classic indie vibes on this one, but like the big one that I was thinking when I listened to the old album was Sonic Youth. Like a lot more dissonance, noisier, distorted tones. Like I'm not sure if there's a distortion pedal on this entire record.
No,
there might be not a single pedal on this entire record.
It is so dry.
It is the driest toast.
Yeah, it is. There's no skin on it.
No.
It's just Dry Bone Valley, dude.
Yeah.
DBV.
Well, who's the Dry Bone Valley? Is that Mastodon?
It's Mastodon.
Hell yeah.
I thought it was maybe a Super Mario Brothers thing because I just got a Nintendo Switch. There's a lot
dude.
there's a lot of dry Bowser.
Just what a 30-year-old man needs in his life. Little Mario
It's
Kart.
fun, dude. I gotta be honest.
It's fun, dude.
My wife wanted it, and I was like, "No, we're not gonna play it." And I've been playing it. I mean,
Now
not
you're
as much. I don't,
hogging it, dude.
I don't think as much as I don't think $300 warrants how much I play it. But it's fun, dude. We gotta get together, do a little Mario Kart
Hell yeah.
tournament.
Well, we can react to the songs in Mario Kart.
It'd be fun to play Mario Kart
stupid.
while on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like just the minutes at a time.
Yeah, just like yeah, no, that sounds good.
Maybe that's what I can do during albums I don't like is play.
yeah, just
Yeah,
like
maybe
chewing the
just
Switch.
tune out.
The next time we get a
JJ?
squid, just like,
What'd you
know,
think?
Jage, just play Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, we're gonna put that right up there.
Circle
review
back
Pearl
on it.
Jam.
We'll circle back on the closing argument.
Yeah. Did I give it a
yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, it sucks.
6.
Yeah.
6?
Yeah.
You guys just want to jump into
Let's
it?
jump
Let's
in.
just jump in. It's Phonetics On and On by Horsegirl, and it's I Quit My Band. We're off.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, this is the first song called Where'd You Go?
I called a friend of mine at work a horse girl, and she was like really offended.
Yeah, Horsegirl is it's a derogatory term.
It is.
Yeah.
It should have been an HR.
Yeah, it
they should
should've
not
been.
be allowed to call their
HR is a
band
very
this.
fluid thing at my job, but to me, a horse girl reminds me of elementary school, with the girls that would like gallop and go like that, you know. And they
See,
were
I always had it as just like the girl that had like the horse folder, the horse,
That
trapper
too.
keeper,
But then
that
you
kind of
find out that she has a horse
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
She's like, their parents have like a horse ranch. You go over to their house and she's got there's pictures of her with the big boots and the trophies.
Yeah.
And the weird hat. Yeah.
What's that? What do they call when they're riders? Equestrian.
Equestrian.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm an award-winning equestrian. You're like,
It seems like horses and ponies are like, kind of a running theme in indie rock these days. Feeble little horse.
feeble little horse. Yeah,
genuine pony.
genuine pony. Yeah, that's
Anyway.
that's the other one.
We can talk about the song now.
Yeah, the song.
I really like this as an opener. It reminds me a lot of Stereo Lab, and the vocals like Nico, a good
Yeah.
bit like
yeah.
from Velvet Underground, and
Really,
just,
really quiet and like
kind of
gentle.
kind of
Deadpan.
monotone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just like that opening lick reminds me like it could be in Rushmore or like an
Yes.
early Wes
Yeah.
Anderson.
There's,
Yes.
I mean, that's
This was giving A24 the
Yeah.
entire time.
the whole thing. Every time I listen to this record, I was just like, yeah, Wes Anderson. You
Yeah.
know, like, every time, I was like, what am I going to say about this one? And I kept coming back to it's with Wes Anderson. You
Yeah.
know.
So it was a
always
little
like-
more Royal Tenenbaums, a little
Yeah.
less
A little-
Rushmore.
Yeah.
I love Rushmore, dude.
Also,
great.
I've never seen Rushmore.
Really?
Never saw Rushmore.
Bill Murray's character is so good because he's like on the phone, walking through the playground, and like while he's on the phone, he just spikes a kid playing basketball. It's like
I've
so
seen it.
subtly funny.
I haven't seen it, but yeah. Wes Anderson, Rushmore, maybe a little Juno vibes.
Yeah.
Not exactly Wes Anderson, but that kind of style.
07
Youth and
indie.
Revolt, Michael Cera,
Oh,
that
okay.
kind of
There
thing.
you go. Now we're more in your
Now
role,
that's yeah.
I haven't watched Rushmore, but I remember Youth
I've
and
seen
Revolt.
Youth and Revolt in theaters, thinking it was cool. Let's move on. This is a song called Rock City.
The cleanest guitar tone of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like I was gonna say it about the first song. Where'd You Go? Like it's like this kind of raucous opener, but still like is so quiet and sparse. Like it really like they can't do much without the pedals. But if you think about these songs with a pedal or something on, just anything on, maybe just a little bit more gain, they would probably have like a lot of like rumpus to them. They'd be like very loud.
I don't know if
Like-
I've heard that word, rumpus.
Jack
What's
White
the-
has that song. What's
Yeah.
the?
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
would
yeah,
be all
yeah,
over
you're right.
rumpus.
I'm an
dude.
idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like an aesthetic choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they and I really like it. Like this reminds me a lot of Sonic Youth. And I love this bass line where like it just like kind of like rides up and
Yeah.
then walks down.
Almost feel we gotta crank it up a notch.
Yeah,
You know what I
get it
mean?
up there, dude. And yeah, the guitar is doing something really weird. Like it has this weird turnaround where it almost sounds like it's fucking up.
It does.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But the way that like all the kind of minimal pieces fit together, it like just
Yeah.
creates a cool like vibe.
The guitars throughout this whole record are like kind of funny, like just the riffs that the guitar player is coming up with, or the lack of riffs that they're coming up with is like some of the songs you're just like, okay, they were just kind of allowed to do whatever they wanted on this one.
Especially you'd hear it. There's some songs where the song trails off, and, like the drums cut out or like whatever, and you hear the guitar still going until like the rest of the instrumental stops, and
Yeah.
they just like fuck around or whatever.
Yeah, there's a
and they
lot
just
of like
keep it in there.
those like, slide ups and then those little like high notes like
Yeah.
it's like John Dwyer except with zero effects.
Zero effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Shows-
rakes, like really like
Yeah.
leaning into the fact that there's like it's
Yeah.
just a clean tone.
It does. Yeah. It just. What did you say? Did you say rakes?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
rake the pick over.
Yeah.
it.
I was gonna say it sounds like she's playing a rake and not a guitar.
Let me plug this rake
Plug
in.
my rake in.
Got an
Yeah.
electric rake.
But I did like this one a lot, though.
Yeah. I mean the melody is great. They do a lot of like doo-doos and dadas.
So many doo-doos and dadas on
I
this
like-
thing.
A ton.
I like that a lot.
And
about
sometimes
this record,
DAWs turn it. I don't know if there's an accent going on or there's just so many DAWs that turn into dar. You know, I just hear that DAWs and
Yeah.
doo-doos and dars.
Well, they're from Chicago, right? They're
Yeah.
not like British or
Maybe there's a
anything,
little
yeah.
Chicago going
They're
on.
going
Yeah.
da bears.
The
There-
Bears.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, no, I like if the melody's good, you can do and la 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 all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes the whole thing a little bit more like playful. Like, I don't know, it just sounds like instead of just writing some bullshit line about like your phone, you know, you're talking about the phone thing. They're
Automatic.
just like, you know, we'll just throw some waddy daws in there.
And this
Yeah,
is like a cool switch up
It
here.
changes
Yeah.
for the last like 30 seconds of the song. Do you want to move on though?
Yeah.
yeah.
Next song is called In Twos.
This is, I think, the best song on the record.
It's definitely
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, like that simple groove, but like this guitar line is so cool, and it's so simple and so sparse. That little like arpeggio.
Yeah.
It could be if like it's very modern sounding record, but if they gave this more of like a rubber soul treatment, that melody could be a Lennon McCartney melody to me.
Yeah.
Sure. Like In My Life or something, you know.
Yeah, that guitar line, like, if it was, you know, just soaked in reverb or something, it would be so, like, huge.
Yeah.
But just because the bass is also, like, pretty much just hollow and the drums are, like, barely in the background, it just, I don't know, like, that guitar line has a lot of power in it with, like, it's just weird how they, like, accentuate certain instruments on this record while they sound like they're all just like not plugged in, you know?
Yeah. No, there's I was struck by the economy of like everything on this record.
Yeah.
And the fact that nothing in particular is like really like being a ball hog. Like
Yeah,
nothing
nothing.
is like jumping for the spotlight.
Yeah.
That something as simple as that, just like little 2-note
Yeah.
arpeggio can have like an emotional resonance
Yeah.
than it would be if it was like this giant spacey thing with all
Yeah.
these different pieces going on.
Yeah, I guess I agree, but everything's sharing, but to me, and maybe it was just like the headphones I was listening through or something, it seems like the bass is up front maybe a little bit more than it would be in something like this, if that makes sense. Like,
It's a little bit hotter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
just
a
a
lot more
little
like
bit.
trebly.
yeah.
I love this part.
This is so nice.
Yeah.
With the string and
The
everything kind of
strings-
like backs off a little bit.
I love that the bass sounds like it's coming in at the wrong time. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like every time they do that, the bass like kind of sounds like, oh shit, I should be playing something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this reminds me a lot of like Yola Tango.
I never see
uh,
these. Like I've never really checked out. Like, what did you say that the first band was? Stereos.
Stereolab.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never listened to Stereolab or
They're-
Yola Tango.
They're much more like that, like early classic indie
Okay.
wave of like the early '90s, late '80s. Beat Happening is another band that this reminds me a lot of.
God,
But just like really like skeletal
Yeah.
pop songs.
it's like we were listening to that Lumineers record, and we talked about a coming of age movie. You know, this is also coming of age movie, but in
This
the
is the
wrong
one
way.
shot on film.
Yeah, this is the
This is like the artsy fartsy.
it's the
coming of
artsy
age.
fartsy one. Yeah,
Yeah.
made by A24.
Yeah.
The girl's probably gonna win an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
rather than like a Teen Choice Award.
Everyone will tweet. I never saw that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Great,
It's great.
really good.
Evan.
Yeah, I would.
great.
Everybody else is tweeting, and I'm like, yeah, the director. His first movie was actually
Yeah.
a little better.
Yeah.
The one that less
Have you
people
seen
know about.
Macaroni Lollipop? Because it's the better of his two.
Of his films. You got to call them films to be a huge.
the better
snob.
of his films. Yeah.
It's my favorite of his oeuvre.
Oh my god.
Let's move on. This song's called 2468.
Some more strings. cover.
Yeah, I like this kind of like country-ish opener, and I like how it kind of picks up too, and is again like playful with the lyrics, like the 2 4 6 8 kind of repetition. Like it's, the whole. It sounds like I don't know, like Recess or something.
Yeah, there is like a tweak quality to a lot of the stuff. And yeah, the in twos is something that they like pick up lyrically throughout. That's like a motif. Similar to the Lumineers record with
You're All I Got.
You're All I Got.
I mean, lots of crossover.
You're all I got.
With this in the Lumineers. Yeah.
Cute. Yeah, but I like this. This is one of the singles that they released. Which
this is where it kind of picks up here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like and I like the melodies. Like almost just about every melody on this record works for me. Like, it's very simple. They're never like belting.
Yeah,
but it's just always like a pleasant, nice listen.
The most inoffensive music ever created. I feel like you can't like.
This one puts a smile on your face.
Even the most critical dad could walk away being like, "That's fine."
Not my dad, dude.
I feel like
my dad would be offended by this. Yeah. The fuck is that?
Everybody
what about Green Grass and High Tides Forever?
Yeah.
By the fucking Outlaws.
Yeah.
All right, everyone except for Brian Cross.
Yeah. But yeah, this one is like, it's so cutesy and like charming. Like everything that they do is kind of like, it's very like samey, like the whole record and the way it sounds, but like every song has its own charm. Like I feel like, with something like the Lumineers, not to keep going back to the Lumineers, but something like that. Like
this is your first video watching us. We know more than just the Lumineers. That's our only point of
I'm not really into Stereolab, but let me bring us back to the Lumineers.
Go back to the Lumineers.
This is pre-Lumineers output.
Yeah. But like how we talked on that record, where
I like that.
songs start to sound the same after a while. I don't feel like there's any song that repeats itself on here. I mean, that you could say that with any record, that we've reviewed in the past 2 years, where it's like always like halfway through you're like, okay, shit is starting to just kind of be the same.
I think maybe what struck me as repetitive, because I generally agree, but what can strike me as repetitive in this style and this production choice and whatever is the vocal monotone Nico thing or the da-da-da-ba-ba-ba thing, because it happens everywhere.
Does happen a lot. I mean, the monotone thing for sure.
Yeah.
I kind of dig the da-da-da, though, kind of going on throughout the record. It kind of plays into the charm for me.
Yeah, I like both.
Yeah.
It like the record has like a vibe throughout, and I would agree that there's no song that I'm like, oh, that sounds exactly like that. And I find that almost more impressive with how like minimal they're taking the approach.
Yeah.
Like if you are saying that we can use anything in the studio and you somehow make a song that sounds exactly like the one that you had just written.
Right.
Whereas like, I'm going to have like this real jangly dry guitar, the trebly bass, the like very soft drums and a monotone vocals.
Yeah.
But still finding ways to differentiate these songs. I find that impressive.
That is pretty impressive. It's a good point. This is the next song. It's called Well, I Know You're Shy. Another just like kind of upbeat, jangly one. I also enjoyed this one quite a bit.
Yeah, there's almost like a surf-y quality to it, just with that like bounce. And I like the like, it switches here.
Yeah.
I think there's even a kick drum. I can't really tell.
There is. It's just like for some reason, whatever the mix is.
It sounds like the floor tom.
I don't want to turn it up too much more because then we'll be like pretty hot. But I feel like that's where you can kind of hear it at that level. But yeah, it's just so like it's like picture this song with like just a little bit more boost with everything. Like it would it'd be like a surf rock song. Like it would sound like heavier,
like you could punk this out.
You could punk this out, yeah.
I think that's what this album leaves me wanting, to be honest with you, because especially what Evan referenced with the first album, it was a bit more boisterous and noisy and had some like more all over the place and colorful production choices.
Yeah.
Where this one is so not, and it's so dry that like eventually I'm like, okay, can I just have like some delay or something, or like it doesn't have to like I feel like me coming from like a harder rock background, you could easily say that I just want everything to be like a fat riff with fuzz.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that, but just like give
These songs could be fat riffs with fuzz. So I kind of see, I know where you're coming from.
No. What I'm saying though is I just need a little bit more, like give me a little twinkle or something, like a reverb or
some reverb.
That's my criticism. Maybe you guys enjoy the minimalism, but not as much me.
I just think it's an interesting take. Like, I don't know if I like hate it or love it. But there are like aspects. I know what you mean. Like, there's aspects of other songs like this, like that song "Intos" that we just listened to with that really cool like dissonant guitar melody. Like, I'd love to hear what that sounded like, just bigger. You know, because it does have a bigger like personality to it. But I feel like for this song, the minimalism really works.
Yeah, and like in comparison, this one does sound more like rocking and flush.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Even though it's not really. Like it was on almost every other album.
Yeah.
No, I think like I like a lot of bands that they're clearly inspired by. Like there's part of this song that reminds me of like Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers.
Yeah.
Like Pablo Picasso or something like that.
Yeah.
And I do really like that approach. Like kind of like almost purposefully not going for like the huge rock out moment.
Yeah. Not going for the anthem.
Yeah.
The fuzzed out fat riff.
The fuzzed out fat
this
riff.
is for the kids that like are stuck to the wall like
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perks of being a wallflower.
Yeah.
This is that
This is
kind of
for
music.
you.
Yeah. Let's move on. This is the next song called Julie. This song has the funniest like lead guitar part in the whole album. Like,
Is it where like her voice follows that?
No, not really. It's just where the guitar, like the lead guitar in the background, just like
just
goes like
going
beep,
up it?
beep.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes it does, but it's mostly just like someone just kind of. It sounds like someone just fucking around in the studio, which is like it's just. I don't think it's bad or good. I just think it's funny. It just makes the song kind of like entertaining to listen to.
Yeah, I actually like that lead a lot. There's a song coming up where it really feels like they were just like last minute, let's go.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different. I feel like it's this one.
No, there is a weird guitar thing in this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I really like this song. This is another one that reminds me of Yo La Tango a lot, and like I like how that like bass feels like a light just like blinking somewhere off in the distance.
Doesn't even sound like a bass, honestly. It's
it
so
sounds like another
trebly.
guitar.
It does.
And I just like that like little bit of atmosphere
Yeah.
that they give during this like chorus part.
That's the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Just kind of like. Yeah. It's so random.
Yeah.
Like, listen.
That is hilarious.
It sounds like a cat. It's like. A ghoul or something. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't mind this one. I think this one is like for that reason with the guitar riff. Like, it's definitely one of the most sparse on the record.
That says a lot.
Which is saying a lot. But I like how it kind of builds up with the pick scrapes.
Yeah.
Like those kind of, if you're listening on headphones, like those kind of get louder and a little bit more like intense throughout the song. Not too much, but
wouldn't want to go
too
too
wouldn't
far.
want to do that. Yeah.
Wouldn't want to hurt any.
Keep those pick scrapes to a minimum.
Wouldn't want to hurt any molecules.
No, we would
or
not
insects.
at all. Yeah.
That's a Portlandia reference. If
I didn't know that.
there's a skit called Battle of the Gentle Bands where they where like a band comes up and like has a chime, but it's all feathers, and she just blows on it.
that is
and they're
this
like,
album, if there's anything. Yeah.
Yeah. They make Jay Mascis, who's in one of the bands,
Oh, yeah.
unplug and play out in the field.
Yeah.
Don't want to
funny.
hurt any insects.
Yeah, like some of this stuff has like just like with the rhythms being so consistent, it's like a hypnotic quality.
Yeah.
Does
Well, that's
feel
where
like-
Velvet Underground Nico comes in, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was at the gym last week, and like I got to my jiu-jitsu class early, and there was a guy in like the weightlifting part of the gym all alone. He was an older dude in his 50s, just blasting heroin by fucking Velvet Underground by himself, putting it up playing.
What a weird thing to live
Crazy, dude. Just like as loud as possible. Just like, and I put the needle into my arm.
Wait, so he was how was he blasting it at the gym? Like, did he have his own
speaker,
like it's like
Bluetooth?
like a smaller gym that you can just hook up your Bluetooth and go.
That's awesome.
But dude was just
hilarious.
cranking like
in my eyes. I thought it was
feel like Jesus' son.
Yeah. In my eyes, usually like an old dude. It's like straight up like the 7 Mary 3.
Oh yeah, dude, you're getting cumbersome. I was like,
at
at least this guy's cool. Like, but a weird
wild
choice.
Yeah, very weird.
When you said blasting in the gym, my mind immediately went to like Planet Fitness. I thought you meant like he brought his own.
Turn on the lunk alarm for this old guy.
You hear like Imagine Dragons playing, and then Velvet Underground like loud in the corner, and you're like, what the fuck is that? What's going on here?
Nothing makes me want to put up weight like heroin.
Yeah. I like that during this very sparse indie rock song we talked about cumbersome. We're talking about Velvet Underground.
That's the ride
Imagine Dragons.
That's the ride that IQMB takes.
That's where we bring you. That's why we've been at
watch the show.
That's why we've been at it for 2 years.
And perhaps why we lost 2 subs today. But, it's just about finding the right subs.
We made one too many IPA jokes.
Okay, we didn't get any back since the show started. Yeah.
8:58 still?
8:58.
Nice.
Hey,
I saw it when it was 8:60. I was like, hell yeah.
I did see it. It was just for a quick night,
Yep.
This song's called Switchover. This is one of my favorites on the record.
A little upbeat action.
It's upbeat. Very simple. I like the lyrics. Just switch over, switch off. I like that. It's kind of a feel-good tune. Like, this reminds me a lot of, like, not in, production or, like, the way the instrument sounds, but the way the song is structured reminds me a little bit of, like, The Replacements, like Can't Hardly Wait or something like that, or, like...
Yeah, this has, like, an 80s vibe.
Little Mascara, almost.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, just super repetitive, good vibe, and I like that.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a cool little guitar line towards the end. Where the guitar opens
where it gets
up
all
a bit.
fucked up at the end. No,
that's the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the last minute of that song is like chaos.
Love the la-di-das.
Just simple melodies, but they're like all good.
It almost feels like the la-di-das are like, it's like a way that this band like figured out how to cheat the system. Like other people are just like, I didn't know you could just do that,
Yeah,
like, what, you have to put words and everything, don't you?
Yeah, like, what, you guys didn't do any words? And they're like, no, just la-di-da the whole time. Like, wow, fuck.
Yeah, because there's like 4 words in this whole song.
Yeah, there's not much.
And then, but like the la-di-da, like, if you put words there, you'd fuck it up.
Yeah,
no,
you can't.
Just give me the la-di-da.
The la-di-das are great. I mean, it's a head scratcher at first. Like, when you listen to the record at first, you're like, did I hear a lot of la-di-das? And then the second time, you're like, it's pretty cool.
It's like their thing.
Yeah, as I was going to say, it's very clearly their chosen path.
It's cool for a band to have, like, a thing, that you like, when they play these songs live, probably, everyone's going to be singing along to those la-di-das.
And you'll be able to hear them.
I'll be singing along to those.
It's going to be real quiet.
Yeah, like, I like this guitar part.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this, yeah. Starts doing that slidey thing. Yeah. Do you guys want to move on?
Yep.
Here's information content. What did you think of this one?
This is one of my favorites on the record.
Me too.
I like
oh yeah.
Another thing that they're like able to do with like these very like skeletal pieces is like, I haven't heard this groove yet.
Yeah.
And it feels like a breath of fresh air in the album. You know what I mean? Like, I'm impressed with how little they're working with, like almost intentionally. Like, if you listen to the first record, you know that they own a distortion pedal.
Yeah.
Like, this is a creative choice. We want to play with this, like as much negative space as we are like sound itself, and still finding ways this deep into the record to give me like something that feels like novel and interesting.
It's very Cate Le Bon, I think. Like, I can.
And I like how this follows the guitar.
Yeah.
That's probably the best melody on the record to me.
I was gonna say that too. We're at a point in the record where I really thought things were gonna start to fall off, and I was gonna start to feel a little bit snoozy. But this one, like kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, where things sound a little bit sharper. Like even the vocals sound like even more upfront. The melody sounds like they're, you know, they like kind of came to play. Like they're not sitting in the background. Like they had a melody that they really wanted people to hear. And
there's a moment where she could have done da 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 da.
Yeah.
She could have done da la di das. She's saying fucking words, dude.
she's actually saying
words.
I got something to say.
I got something to say. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck is in there.
That melody reminds me of the way you did it.
Yeah, the
And I
way
can't
you
think
did
of-
it.
Yeah.
What, me
Sparked
specifically?
something.
Yeah.
What if?
Is that fucking
Yeah.
Adam Sandler?
No, I think I know what it is. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, and then like the last minute becomes like chaotic in a way that I'm
Yeah.
not very sold on.
Man.
Mostly because like the rest of the song is like very good.
Did I make you think about Hocus Pocus by Focus?
I don't think-
No.
I thought of Adam Sandler doing like
Okay.
the like with that thing. Yeah,
That's
not that.
not-
That's Tim Allen. But,
Stepping on Evan's toes.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
brother. I only got a couple bits. of it.
Shabadoo.
yeah, that's for the Shabadoo. Yeah.
Shabaa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The skadoosh.
That's
the
not
Jack
it.
Black skadoosh.
Skadoosh.
Yeah, like I don't hate the chaotic thing, but it's like when Sonic Youth does it, they do have distortion and stuff.
They grunge
going
it up.
on. Whereas
Yeah.
like you're just like you have all those dry elements. It's just like somebody taking a bunch of crackers and like, rubbing them
Leaves,
together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you go chaotic, it is.
It's like
it
doing the
is better
cinnamon
to kick on
challenge.
the pedals
Oh, yeah.
at that point, because it's just. I mean, distortion can make it can make things louder, but it can also like compress and make things like softer and like not as intense to listen to.
It makes the dissonance go down a little easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Frontrunner.
This one's a very different sounding one for the album.
Yeah,
This is country-ish.
It's a little bit more country, a little bit more folky, and just the tone of that guitar immediately. Like it sounds like the strings are different. Like it sounds like a
I'll walk the
Nylon.
line.
banjo
something.
nylon string. Yeah,
Yeah, I like this a lot. It has like musically, it sounds like something out of the '60s.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mamas and the Papas or something.
Yeah, and I do like the one line which is like, when you're sleeping, I can't wait to compromise. That's a really cool lyric.
Yeah, that's
And-
another thing about this song.
I just like that, like just the real subtle shift
Yeah.
into this, and it's like sad and like melancholy, but
the use
guys
of
really
acoustic
like it.
guitar here makes it kind of fills everything out a little bit, more than on the rest of the record. But that's another thing we haven't talked about with this record is the lyrics. Like we've talked about the la-di-das, but I haven't there's not much that I haven't like paid attention to lyrically. Like a couple songs, you can tell they're like trying to say something, but most of the time I feel like there's just kind of supposed to be this kind of fun, playful record with lyrics that don't really have to send a message. You know what I mean? Like the switch over, switch off thing. There was a couple others. Oh, I can't think of them right
there's
now.
a couple lines that I picked up on that I like.
2,
There's-
4, 6, 8. That one.
The one line in twos, I like every car that passes by drives to you. I like that.
It's very cutesy. I like that. This song is cutesy too. I can just, it's Wes Anderson again.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson.
Just leaving the, the beach house with the family. Never gonna see that girl again.
Moonrise Kingdom, dude. This
Yeah.
does feel like the end of
The
Moonrise
end.
A
Kingdom.
very
Moonrise Kingdom.
symmetrical frame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. This is Sport Meets Sound. I like this one a lot.
Me too.
We all just kind of like.
Just digging in. Yeah, I mean, I really, really like
Yeah.
this album. And,
Yeah.
And the, just what they're doing with so little. These songs, like, I just find them hypnotic. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's hard to talk about because, like, no individual element is, like, usually we can be like, I like what that synth's doing. I like what it
Yeah.
does. I do like this a lot where it switches to, like,
Yeah.
the roll on the dot, 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 dot.
Yeah.
But like overall, like every vibe on every song just seems like a holistic thing. You know what I mean? There's no piece of it that you're like, that's fucking it up. That doesn't work. Like, it all just works.
Yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree with you when you say that every song kind of creates a vibe. Like, everything's doing... There's no song that has like a big, aside from maybe the strings I think
in twos,
there's really nothing that comes in and like steals the show. Everything's very raw and just like, flat, but every song creates its own kind of melancholy vibe that can kind of like fuck up your day. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No. Yeah. This is like a no.
Doesn't
Yes.
make any sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah. This is like a rainy day album.
It fucked up my day a little bit today. I mean, I wasn't having a great day,
and then I started crying,
and then I listened to it, and I was like, things seem worse than they were. But it was because of this album. Let's move on.
So give it a listen.
Yes, give it a listen. This is the last track. I Can't Stand to See You. This one has a little bit more urgency. Doesn't feel like a closer, I would say.
I think that's probably like the bad thing about having all of them kind of have a similar-ish vibe.
Yeah.
Is that there's no standout to be like, well, here's what we cap it off with.
Yeah.
I don't really know if there's any song in this album that I feel like, well, that's the closer. Maybe Frontrunner.
Maybe
just because it had
Frontrunner.
that like westerny kind of like,
or the one with the fucked up ending to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Information
When that
Content.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this one feels like cheery.
Yeah,
You
it feels
know?
cheery again. It reminds me a lot of the Porridge Radio record that we listened to. That one kind of like kept going down in mood, and then the last song was kind of like this celebration. I can't remember what it was
Sick
called.
of the Blues.
Sick of the Blues, yeah. But this one feels more like in line with Well, I Know You're Shy and 2468. Like it's so playful, where I guess I would have expected something like more like
even crushing.
even more crushing. We're really tough on closers and openers.
Here we are.
Oh, we're
this
big
show.
closers and
We're
openers.
like, if you don't got that opener or that closer, it's whatever.
You know what? We've backed off of the. We were on for a while. Order of things. We don't give a fuck about that as much anymore. It's
I don't
really
know,
what
that-
starts and finishes an album that really.
That
makes it.
Lumineers, I don't know. I got.
That's
on
our
for that
only
sequencing.
barometer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they just had the song that had the same melody in it, like, right next to each other.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing?
A little bit more attention to detail with the sequencing would have helped.
Yeah, and this has like a xylophone in it or something like that they keep like
Ooh.
scraping across.
Yeah, there's something there in the background.
Or
I
like
didn't
the
catch on to that
string
at first.
tree of a guitar, maybe. I don't know what it is.
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to that at first, but we're rounding it out here.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Should we move into the CAs?
Yeah.
Sure.
Evan, you want to go first? Since
Yeah.
This was kind of your pick.
Yeah, I really liked it. They're definitely pulling from influences that I like a lot, which I think will probably make or break how much you are into this in general.
Yeah.
I do think that this is like a good gateway into those type of bands, because I think that they have more like immediately compelling melodies than some of those other bands.
Yeah.
I do think that like after listening to their first record, this is an interesting step forward for a band to do. Like, it's very intentional to make a record like this. And I do think it shows like a lot of musical maturity to be able to put together an album that sounds this sparse, but also make it enjoyable to listen to. Like, there was never a part of it that I felt like that I was like being challenged to have to listen to them. Like, they still operate as pop songs, but they're working in this like very muted sort of color palette that I found like rewarding to listen to. Yeah. Love the melodies. Some songs I think are stronger than others, but like front to back, I don't think that there's a dud on the whole record. And for a band this young to come out with something like that feels this sure-footed, like I can't imagine trying to write a record where I don't step on a distortion pedal, or we're not slamming on a cymbal at some point, or somebody's not yelling.
Would never think to do it.
No, like
I would never even attempt.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna go 8-1.
Wow. All right, 8-1. You want me to go next, or do you want to go?
Sure,
next?
You can go.
Yeah, I was going to agree with a lot of what you said. Like, I don't know a lot of this band's influences like you do. Like, I know a little bit of Sonic Youth, but definitely not Stereolab or Yellow Tango. So, like, I didn't have a ton of references when listening to this record, and I didn't have a reference for what they sounded like before either. I was just kind of jumping in, like, bare bones, listening to Horsegirl for the first time, and it felt bare bones. Like, there's really nothing here that is like, they're not doing anything like crazy instrumentally aside from, like, that's the craziest thing about the record, is that they're just like, there's really nothing added, not even a distortion pedal. Sounds like they may have recorded everything with not even an amp on. Could have been like acoustic,
DI or something.
Doing an acoustic electric guitar. You know what I mean? Like, just not even plugging it in, and just like putting a mic up. So it's so bare bones. But that was the kind of the charm of it too. Like, I really enjoyed that part of it, and it was like really interesting to hear all these songs work without anything like that. Like, that's the other part of it. Like, I don't think, like you said, there really aren't any duds on it. I also didn't really think there was any like huge standouts either. I mean, my favorite is probably Into's. I like 2468. I liked information content a lot, and I liked switchover a lot. But like, I don't know how much I'm gonna come back to this. I don't love being put into this, dreary mood often. It's, it's something that I kind of stay away from usually.
You get there by yourself anyways.
Right, yeah, exactly. I'm not going to, dunk on it for doing that, though. It's just like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, it's not totally for me. And I feel like there's a lot of indie bands that, like, have a minimalist approach right now. I mean, like, whether they're stepping on a distortion pedal or not, like, this is kind of the max, you can go with bare bones, but I feel like there are bands that kind of, keep it pretty chill. And I think that's maybe its biggest flaw, is that perhaps it's too chill. Maybe there could have been, like, just like you were saying, there's just a little bit there. But yeah, you can't knock it for doing something like really different. I'm gonna give it a 7-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna take what Nate said and go a little further. Yeah, this isn't my vibe. I tried, but it's just kind of a snoozer for me, similar to Squid. It's not really. I just wanted a bit more dynamics, I guess, and it's like this line the entire time. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down. And like Nate said, I was talking about earlier, like, you don't have to, like, shred or, like, give me, like, sweep picking or something. But, like, maybe a little atmosphere, a splash of reverb. Give me the sense that you actually recorded through an amp or something, because this could have all been DI. Like, it all is very, but it's not sterile at the same time, so I can't knock it for that. And like Nate said too, I don't want to dunk on this, because by no means is it bad. It's an aesthetic choice that I just don't really vibe with. But it's none of this is like poorly done or not thought out or stupid in any way either. So just based on that, I'm gonna round it out at like a, I forget, probably like a 6.5, and just call it a day.
It's a 7.2.
7.2. What do you call that?
Jeez, I don't even know.
That was almost another buckshot. Hell yeah.
It almost was. Yeah. I think a bare bones.
A bare bones. Hell yeah. A dry, possibly. Hell yeah. We'll go with bare bones.
Yeah. Dry bone valley.
Dry bone valley. Somewhere in that.
Yeah.
You'll find some.
Yeah, I'll pick it. I'll pick it.
No, I think that like those are very valid reactions to it. Like having listened to so much music that like has a similar vibe to this. Like I've grown that taste for it, but hearing it for the first time and like not being like, oh, that sounds like Stereolab or I see kind of what they're doing. It's just like, where's the Marshall stack? What is anybody?
I don't need the Marshall stack.
I know what you mean, but like imagine if like you're listening to this and they do decide to pick it up at the end of one of these songs. It would feel even more like impactful from where you were.
I guess like some of the things that you're referencing that I know about, like Sonic Youth, like the Velvet Underground, things like that, they have like a collective vibe. Not collective, but like each of those bands establish a vibe during their records, like an atmosphere or like a room sound or something. And I just don't get any of that from this. So that's why I was kind of bored.
Yeah, I mean it's why I respect this record a lot, and also why I can kind of have something to dunk on it for, or not dunk on it, but just like have a criticism of it. Like not just like Marshall stack or fucking cranking on, putting on a pedal,
fuzzy riffs,
not fat fuzzy riffs, but like we listened to the Porridge Radio record, and that had a very similar vibe, and like one of my favorite songs of last year was.
God of Everything
Else, and that does have a bare bones vibe, but there is like this very faint synth in the background of most of those songs that kind of just gives it a little bit more atmosphere. Yeah, which this album is like, I don't know, it's it's one of those things where you don't want to like go in there and be like, you need a synth, because they're onto something a little bit cooler than that.
Yeah, they can fucking do whatever they want.
They can fucking do whatever they want.
Clearly people like it, like, who am I?
I enjoyed the record. I didn't, hate on it or anything. It just, it wasn't, I just don't know how much I'm going to come back to it. Yeah. But I did enjoy it. Yep. And I think it deserves its
flowers.
It's fall into the hell yeah zone.
Yeah, it deserves, it's a well-earned.
It's a well-earned.
Bare bones hell yeah. They should put that. They should walk away feeling pretty good about that.
Like when
you're fresh out of high school and you already got it bone dry. Hell yeah!
And that was well earned. That was a well earned bone dry.
You went out there and did that. I know you worked with Cate Le Bon.
Like how like back in the day at Best Buy they'd put stickers on the CDs like this has this song on it, and like 5 stars, Pitchfork. There's just a sticker on it that says well earned bone dry. Hell yeah! We need IQMB.
Our little badge we have with the banner, we need to like get stickers that say like,
sending them out to record companies. Great news.
You've earned this pile of shit from these dumbasses.
It says well deserved bone dry. Hell yeah.
3 bald guys.
The Lumineers, like the end all be all. Yeah, whatever. Slap that right on the vinyl.
Send it to Antonoff with the whatever dog shit we gave him.
The light dog shit.
The light dog shit.
I can't wait to give out a dog shit again. I'm looking forward to that.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
our rating system is the greatest.
It's ironclad.
You can't mess with it. It's beautiful. How about you, folks? What do you think of this record? Horsegirl, Phonetics from now on. Let us know in the comments what you thought of it. Let us know if you think we scored it low or high.
Are we the boring ones?
I feel
and after this episode, maybe a little bit.
Maybe
I felt a little low end.
It was a little.
But we're gonna need to listen to some.
It's also what they give us.
It's what they give us.
It's like Hardee's a buffet.
We're ready for Hardee's.
This is like one of those minimalist meals where like you get out and it's just like a piece of meat
and then like just a little like squirt of sauce.
And then just like a little. Yeah.
Like I told you, it fucked up my day. I was having a bad day.
Yeah.
And then listening to this, I was like, oh. Shit.
It'll make a bad day worse.
Even worse.
It'll make a bad day worse. IQMB. That's what you put on the sticker.
That's another one. But yeah, subscribe to the channel after you comment. We hope you enjoyed listening to us listen to this record. Go follow us on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe to our Patreon, please. It's $5 to become a quitter and see all of our bonus content. We do probably like 2 bonus episodes a month at this point. We're Gonna try to do some more different things on there. The last episode we have is just kind of a mega episode where we listen to 15 tracks from the past month, and it's called Post Slap Output. It's fun. It's funny.
Don't unsub from us.
Don't unsub from after putting this
That's
on.
when you know a YouTube channel is doing well at the end of whatever you do. Don't hit that button.
We have a huge. Here's the thing. We're at the beginning of the year, and there's not a ton of, crazy new music that comes out at the beginning of the year. But this year is, like, lining up to be one of my most, like, anticipated years for music so far. Like, we have Viagra Boys coming up. Who else?
Pigs.
Black Country New Road. Pigs. Preoccupations announced a record. Bon Iver announced a record.
Dreamhouse.
Def Heaven announced a record. There's
Kill Switch Engage.
Did we say Viagra Boys?
Dude, KSE?
Yeah. Did I say Viagra Boys?
Yeah,
we did. Okay, yeah. Viagra Boys. That's gonna be great. So yeah, it's gonna be a big year. Stick with the show,
This is, I think, we didn't start consistently doing reviews until like midway last year. So this is our first full year of reviews.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year of reviews. So, we're excited. We hope you're excited too. Subscribe to the channel. And, if you want, sub to that Patreon page. It's like with my band. We'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.